Right, I'm previewing the 4K Ultimate SHAR-KADE Bartop. Comes with a 4K monitor, a i7 8700K processor, a GTX 1080 Ti, a Samsung 970 EVO M.2 drive 250 gig, a 10TB hard drive, two Trident Z G-Skill DDR4 RAM, clocking at 3200. It comes also with an ROG Strix 9Z390 iGaming motherboard. It also has a DarkPower Pro 11 750 watt power supply. It has the LEDPAC, the LEDPAC kit with the LED Blinky setup and RGB buttons with the side pinball buttons and the RGB power button on the back. Also has a 750 transition animation for LED Blinky that I created. Comes with custom dust covers created only by SHAR-KADE with custom grills on the back. Two USB 3 ports. Controllers can be configured. Controllers are configured with Xbox 360 controllers also. I believe these are official controllers, but I do offer a link to my supplier on those. It has a mini amp on the front with the USB input with SD card input for playing MP3s. It also has radio on there. Comes with 4K titles like Dragon Ball Fighter Z, Street Fighter 5, Mortal Kombat XL, Tekken 7, Injustice 2, Soul Calibur 6, Guilty Gear, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, Cuphead and more. So we'll start up a game.
Loading complete.
A lot of people have said this Bartop is overpriced and overpowered. That's what the customer wanted. I originally thought that it didn't need a GTX 1080 Ti, it didn't need to be in 4K, but actually playing it, I find it a lot better experience, a lot better in-depth picture quality. Gaming experience is absolutely brilliant on it. But would I pay personally this much for a Bartop for the parts alone? Me personally, I wouldn't, unless I had the money to throw away. But the customer did, and the customer loves it, and he's gonna be loving it when it arrives on his doorstep. I mean, the sheer amount of hours I put into this unit and the quality of the gaming is just above and beyond. You can always add more games. There's about another 2 terabytes on a 10 terabyte hard drive to add tons and tons of next gen games. Install a 360 controller or an Xbox One controller and play some next gen titles. I do recommend them staying offline, but it's up to the customer if they want to add the network capabilities. It also has a Wi-Fi installed, so it has Wi-Fi capabilities already from the motherboard. For Street Fighter games and stuff like that, next gen ones especially, you have your Xbox 360 style controllers, so it's A, B, X, Y, LB, RB, left trigger, right trigger. Same with those. Select start. And for pinball games, you've got your side buttons. So like Tekken 7, Mortal Kombat XL, it'll be like using a 360 controller. So you left back, left trigger, right trigger. And on Tekken 7 also, you'll have these set up in the options as grabs and your 2 button presses, your other 2 button presses for your different special setups, so you can do your double button presses a lot easier, but you can change them within the settings. Also, the sticks have been upgraded with new springs, a lot more tension on them, a lot more feedback from them, and absolutely perfect for fighting games. As you can see, I'm doing specials with one hand, and it's smooth as hell. So, like most PC games, for Hyperspin you have to exit via the main menu of the game. So if you press start, go to the main menu and exit the game, it will bring you back to the main menu. Games like Cuphead, I know a lot of people have had issues trying to set up the controllers. I had issues with the game and getting it load right. It was lagging. It just had really unplayable issues. So I had previously removed it. Seems like I've fixed the issue. Also, the controllers and the buttons are all set up. You've got to set up as a keyboard for the first one, and a game controller is the second one. So you have your start there, you enter, and then when you're in game you can press any button on the second controller and it'll add that player in. I don't understand why it doesn't just use it as 2 separate USB controllers, but for some reason I've got to set it up with a keyboard for the first player and a gamepad for the second player. You have your dash, you have your lock on, jump, your second shoot, and your weapon switch. So all the buttons are configured. But you can change them within the menu settings. Just press start and go to your options. You have an escape on the side for this one. Allows you to exit map. So go through a couple of retro games 4-player. I will do a tutorial at some point. I'm just really busy of getting out of this menu so it doesn't just shut down, getting into Windows, and then going into different emulators, changing and setting up controllers how you like it, or adding and removing games if you wish to remove any games. Because some emulators, some systems, you can configure it all through Rocket Launcher. PC games are mainly used from Xbox 360C, X360CE, I believe, in their folder, so you can configure them like Xbox 360 controllers, and the others are configured within the emulator, like CMU, Dolphin, basically Wii style games, stuff like that. And I believe the PS2 is set to configure player 1, player 2 with the Xbox controllers and the controllers on board, so you'll be able to use rather that as a controller player 1 or that as a controller player 1. As for MAME games, it does, For some reason it sets these as player 1, player 2, and then player 3, player 4. I haven't seemed to figure out how to get into this and change that, but unless I set every controller up as player 3, player 4, but once you unplug these controllers, that will then set them as player 1, player 2. Let's go. Turtles in Time. Nice 4-player game.
Loading complete.
Right, so instead of selecting start on there, it's because player 1 and player 2's on the Zinmo controllers are 8 and 9, I believe, on 9 and 10 originally, but on MAME it recognises as 8 and 9. That leaves these buttons, the left stick and the right stick. Oh, left stick and the right stick, I believe. So, add coins, and then you'd press your buttons to start on Turtles, not the start buttons. So that's player 1, player 2, player 3, and player 4 joined in. So your jump buttons, your attack, jump. So you'd exit that. I do recommend obviously unplugging the Xbox controllers. I'll send a link also to them Xbox controllers. I believe the official, the look official, the feel official, but I have a link to my supplier of those also. You have your amp controller. You can change it, turn it on the radio. You have your LED controller for the back, for your speaker grills. Transition it in and out, have it fade, have it, it's LED activate, sound activated, sorry, so it'll flash with the sound also if you wish to set it to that. You have your transition flashing through. So like I say, if you want to play normal MAME games, unplug the controllers. If you're not playing 4 players and you just wish to play 1 or 2, select your game. As you see, LED Blinky is configured for most games. If there is setups that you wish to change, press select and start. Or if the controllers are plugged in, make sure player 1 controller is the select and start, which is a left and right analog stick pushing. Go down to input this game, then you can change the button presses in the buttons to whatever you wish by pressing start first and then adding that button. So and when it's changed and you've exited out of the game and gone back in the game, I'll shut the machine down and started it up. The LEDs corresponding with them button presses for that game will light up. So if you wanted that button for some stupid reason instead of that button, then that button would light up instead of that one. And you can swap and change however, which way you feel. Like Mortal Kombat games, you can change it light punch, high kick, high punch, high kick, block, run, low kick, high, low punch, low kick. So exit out of that game, go down, right. So let's test something. Go to Wii U. Make sure if you want to play 4 players, you plug in the Xbox controllers into the back of the USB, 3 ports on the back, and also one's up and one's down, so make sure you don't try and force it in the wrong way, because it will damage the port. Just make sure you put it one up facing up and one facing down. Right, quick, because I've only got a couple of minutes left on this video. Mario Kart 8, let's have a look. So load the game.
Loading complete.
Right, that will be default player 1 control. That's default player 2. That with the player 2 lit up will be default player 3. The one player 1 lit up will be default 4. Don't know why that is, but on MAME that's player 2 and that's player 1. Don't understand why it does it that way, but it does. Select your vehicles with each controller. As you can see, controls for player 1 work fine. Player 2. Player 3. And player 4. This is fully shelled to Windows, so which I had issues with. I've done another video on a rough idea how to get Windows shelled by following someone else's tutorial, then using my .bat file technique. Basically, if I exit out, the system will shut down. Because I've been configuring stuff, I've got pages open, so it's forcing to asking to shut down the applications I've had open. Shut it off. So when you turn it on, this is shelled to Windows 10 Pro. I know people haven't been able to get Windows 10 Pro to shell properly. I will do a full tutorial at some point on that, how I managed to get it to shell. As you can see, everything's black. You can add your own custom menus. Turn it off a second.